Here's what a simple two-choice Kappa code window might look like. I'm going to try to post this just so you guys can copy paste this and maybe just adapt it for yourselves. So here's what you're going to have one main code. And remember, the use of Kappa is specifically when you're not really interested in the code itself, but more about the classification or sorting of that code as like either choice A or choice B. So, for example, if a student had responded to a bunch of questions, you're most interested in knowing whether it was correct or incorrect, and that's the most important part of your coding. That's the use for Kappa itself. So if I'm looking here at just a simple timeline, to begin calculating this, you need to already have your main code coded into your timeline, and you should already be agreed upon those instances. And generally, I have this set up. You can see the green diamond here. That means I have it turning itself on. I have a lead time and lag time because, like I said, I'm not as much interested in that main code. I'm not really counting a duration of that. I mean, you might find more creative uses for this, but in general, you're most interested with this particular calculation in your labels. So you can see I already have this coded. There are 16 instances. Now I'm going to kind of show you what you would do next for your raters for Kappa to automatically calculate. So I actually have those. I have one main code. These two are just, I left my identifiers on so you can see what they are, but you could get rid of them later. I just have Rater 1, Rater 2 as those are inactive buttons just to sort them out. And then what I did was I made very similar text labels, choice A with a 1, and choice A with a 2, and choice B with a 1, choice B with a 2, that you guys could fill in. And I wrote it like this so that if I post this actual file, I'm hoping that WordPress will allow me to do that. When I post this file, you can just use the simple edit, find, and replace, that you can actually have it. If you make sure that ignore case or at least the match the whole word is checked, you can actually just type in, like if you wanted main code, you could replace it with response or whatever your main code is. And if you click replace, it'll change it all. And if you make sure it's changed in the button scripts as well, it'll change my scripting. So you will only have to very quickly switch these up for yourselves. So I have these text labels here, but I'm actually not going to be coding from my code window with these labels. I haven't found a way for that to work if I've already pre-coded that main code. So they're just here more for my reference. Looking into my scripts, if you remember, I kind of described all the different parts in the last video, that like how you would script them. I've put them already in here for you. I've made a whole lot of different variables, and I've actually have them scripted out to calculate Kappa at the end with K equals. It'll put it up as an actual decimal. So I have this already set that if you did that find and replace, you could very easily not have to script this yourself. So they're all in there. Remember that A, B, C, D matrix, all that good stuff. So that's here. Now I just want to show you what you would do for the coders. So if I was in this code window, remember this label button that I had showed in some other videos? Well, a very simple way to do this would be to actually have your raters, just if you click, I think it's option, or let me get in here. Let's see, control. There we go, it's control. If you hit control and click on an instance, you can pick from those text labels that you already had in there. And these 4 options actually popped up already because I had them set in my code window over here. So that's another reason to put them in your code window. But you could always add them through this label button. You could very easily add another one. So what I would do is each person would go through the instances. If they wanted to watch it, remember you can double click on an instance and it'll pull up just that particular instance. So say they watched it and they decided it was choice A. Make sure they understand if they're Rater 1 or Rater 2. So that one was choice A. Then they would double click this one, watch that instance, and they said that one was choice A. So you kind of just keep going. Let's say a lot of these are choice A. This one maybe was choice B. Obviously, they would have to watch the videos for these. But it's as simple as that. Just remembering whether you're coder 1 or coder 2, they could now classify each of these main codes as one of 2 label options. Okay, and I'm just doing this super quickly so you guys can see how it works. Okay, so these are all my Rater 1s now. And remember, when I point to these, you can now see it up in this yellow bar. You can see how it was coded. So now Rater 2 is going to do this. And They're going to make their choices. Now, they might be swayed. Here's the only thing. You may want to have this on two separate, you may want to use like a reference package, because you can argue that someone might be swayed by seeing how the other person coded it. Or they can just simply write it on a piece of paper and then come back. Because I know in educational research, we want to be careful that we're not swayed by someone else's choice. But for this purposes, I mean, you can decide the logistics yourself, how it's going to work. I'm just going to start coding things. And now I'm using Raider 2's codes, if you're seeing what I'm doing here. I know this part's kind of boring, but I just wanted to show you how simple it is to choose this. And I'm purposely trying to make a lot of them the same, and then perhaps just a couple that are different, so that Kappa will actually calculate something for us that's not 0 or 1. Okay, so now if I pointed at each one, I should see that each Raider has a choice on here, right? Now if I was back in my code window, you can see I already have this set. It's calculating as I go, because I have that whole script in there. So this is not a very good 0.31 is not a very good agreement. I was kind of randomly selecting them. But, ideally you want, 0.7 or more. But now you can see that it's quickly calculating for us. I don't have to do anything else, which is really nice.